Hi everyone, my name is Jack. Behind me is a 1970 Plymouth Cuda that I plan on doing a Gen 3 Hemi swap with. Now this poor thing's been sitting on top of the mountain for about 30 years, slowly rotting back into the earth. It's been treated like a shed for most of its life, filled with parts from this, and from what I'm told is an old Cordoba. But I never actually saw the Cordoba, so cannot verify. No engine, no trans currently. This was a 340 4-barrel 3-speed car. Factory purple, I believe it was the code. Interior's in pretty good shape. Most of the panels are still there. Dash pad's barely cracked. We do have the back seats, top and bottom. We do not have the front seats. The floor is a little rotten in places. I had to look at it on the other side. I love the purple. Hope to bring that back out of it. Trunk, also treated like a storage shed. We moved some things around in there and the trunk is nearly gone. It will have to be cut out eventually. But first, gotta clean it, see what we have. Passenger side is fairly straight. You can see here, this was a black vinyl top vehicle. The pins are still in it. Passenger door does not currently open. I'm also told this is not the original front right fender for this. That it's actually that fender up there. That is slightly damaged. But we're hopefully gonna be able to wet sand all that orange off of this and get that purple to come back through. So I think I'm going to try to reuse this fender. It's not that bad. It's a little crinkled in the front. Since I don't plan on painting this in the very near future, it's gonna look all crappy the way it is. It'd be nice to get as much of that purple to come back as I can. You can also see this was is an AC car. Still has most of the factory AC stuff in here, though I have no idea what condition it's in. Got the manual gearbox, manual brakes. It's got drum front brakes, so don't know how long we'll be staying with the manual brakes, but that's what it's got for now. A few slices and dices. I have no idea why someone in their mind would cut this. But it is what it is. Windshield is cracked. You can see the little cracks in the dash pad there. Not bad. Can't wait to get it going. I've been staring at this car for 30 plus years. Parked behind it is the donor vehicle for our Gen 3 Hemi. It is a 05 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This one is all-wheel drive, so I will not be using the transmission or drivetrain, except the engine, out of this one. Instead, we will be using, or hopefully we'll be using, unless I can find a 6-speed, an a833 4-speed. know if it looks better after the bath, but it's definitely a little bit cleaner. Did see that apparently there's some caulking in here, and down in there there's some leaking. So wouldn't be surprised if that's all rusted out in there as well. Well, now that that's done, gonna move on to cleaning out the inside. However, that's gonna have to wait for another day. Well, here we are, another day. It is hot here in California. So I decided to clean out the car in the night. Well, fortunately that doesn't make for very good video because you can't see anything. So you missed all the vacuuming and the sorting of all the stuff, but let me show you some of the stuff that I found. Here's some of the extra parts I found in there. Various pieces here and there. I don't even know if they're all for this car, but they should work for it. Also found a complete other set of brakes and a starter, a couple steering columns, three AC compressors, just a bunch of extra junk left inside the car. So inside the car there was a little more damage than I originally thought. In fact, there's not much of a trunk floor left. What's kind of funny is as I was vacuuming up, more and more of the trunk floor would just suck up into the vacuum. And there's going to be a lot more that comes out. All this is just hanging free. This isn't supported, no latch here. This is all fairly well weight reduced. Inside, my assumption, or what I had seen, was that only the passenger side had real rot. I didn't even see the rot that's up there. Didn't see the rot that was up there. Nor did I see the rot that was right there. So most of the floor pan's gonna have to be cut out, which is fine, I suppose. Might as well make it right. Also found that this doesn't really want to work, which means I can't open that door. But dash looks pretty good. Headliner is, I mean, mostly still there. Back seat looks pretty good. No real tears. All the panels still look good, except for the headliner. Package tray, it's got a couple holes in it. Looks like there was a drive line in here, torque converter, extra set of torsion bars, flywheel. Too bad that won't do us any good. Oh, almost went right through the floor. Oh, Lord. Also found a whole bunch of trim. Some extra switches, door handles, various whatnots. The original front piece that would go right here is in here. Got a little beat up in the accident. And then found the front lower piece over here. Also a little beat up, but should be able to straighten it out. So now I think the next step is going to be trying to get it up in the air. Start looking at the bottom so we can get a game plan together as to what I want to do first. Like I said, a lot of the floor is going to have to come out, so need to know how much more of the sheet metal I need to buy. That way I can get it all fixed up. You know, the engine, though it's going to be stock, is going to have more power than what this car originally had. So concerned that we're going to start having issues with twisting up sheet metal and whatnot if we start really getting into it and whatnot and playing around with it. And it's always a chance that I put that engine in and it just never comes out again, and we drive it until it dies. So it's going to die a lot faster if I don't replace all that metal. So might as well try to at least assess, see how much of it needs to be replaced. Then after we get in the air and, you know, get some more of the free stuff taken care of, a couple weeks maybe I'll pull that engine out of that Jeep, that donor Jeep, so we can start getting figured out what we need to make the transmission work. Plan on going with the Holley Blackheart engine mounts for the Gen 3 Hemi, and what was the other thing? Oh, the oil pan, the Holley oil pan. Really like that cast aluminum design. I'm questioning the O-ring seal. O-ring seals work great. However, how hard is it going to be to get a replacement O-ring seal if, you know, down the road that ends up dying? I know working with our diesel trucks and whatnot, as soon as those things get hot, those O-ring seals, they get hard, they don't seal anymore. So I don't plan on making this engine hot, but you never know. Things happen. So kind of go back and forth. I do like the construction of it a lot better than the Mylodon. I think I really like, or not the instruction, just the engineering behind it. I like the way all the oil drain back and all that is for the optional turbos and stuff. And, you know, everybody has dreams of eventually putting a turbo in it, so might as well kind of start edging towards that. So never know. Might start getting that stuff ordered so that way we can start seeing, make sure the Gen 3 Hemi with the a833, you know, there's not a whole lot of info of people actually doing that. Is that going to sit in the factory cross member location? I don't know. It should, but I don't know. Also, this is a 3-speed car. That's 4-speed transmission. Are we going to have issues with this tunnel right here? I mean, this is, from what I can see on YouTubes and whatnot, this tunnel is slightly different. So we might be cutting out the whole tunnel. At that point, hell, do we just spend the money and get a T56? I mean, that's an expensive tranny. So I would love to have one, but I think that's going to be a little outside the project range right now. Maybe in the future. That being said, if I already go, you know, $500-600 for a flywheel clutch assembly for the a833, you know, that's $500 already towards the T56. You know, is it really that big of a price difference? That's all stuff that's still bouncing around in my head. And that's the stuff that I spend searching YouTube looking for answers for. So I don't know. Anyways, gotta get it up in the air, assess the damage. Can't make a game plan if you don't know what's going on. So, all right, I think I'm gonna cut the video on this one. If I do a video on what damage is underneath, it's probably pretty short. So, have a good night.